So I'm Betty, and welcome to the 4th District. It's good to have you here. I've got some prepared remarks, so I'm going to look down and glance on them because I have two challenges here. I'm from the House of Representatives where we only get a minute to speak. And I used to teach high school and 40 minutes. So we're not going to do either one. We're going to hit the sweet spot. It's incredible to be here with you today. Thank you for the nice introduction, John. And it's great to have the STEM Opportunity Alliance here. I look forward to hearing your recommendations on how you're going to grow equity and excellence in the STEM workforce. Now, I have to stay up front. Sometimes I can be a bit of a disruptor. So my first recommendation today, and it won't come as a surprise to the folks here in Minnesota who have been working on that, is that when you're looking at your national strategy, you should take a cue maybe from our schools here in Minnesota and promote the value of STEAM. Science, technology, engineering, arts. Oh, a couple of people I saw them say arts along with me, mathematics and medicine. And the reason why I'm saying that is in order to take on big problems of our future, we need a workforce that is interested and committed to more than just the hard sciences and the technology know-how. We need creative problem solvers and people who can engage in interdisciplinary discussion. Incorporating the arts into our approach here, teaching in Minnesota and working with science and technical fields, we find that it's critically important in helping to support a diverse and equitable workforce. Everyone feels welcome. The compassion, think about it, the comprehension, the communication skills that the arts reinforces is vital to beating down the bias and the discrimination that often serves as a barrier to our STEM fields. We want all children, every child in our classrooms, people who are working with us throughout our nation, to have the opportunity to contribute to the new generation of the American innovation. And creativity, I travel all around the world. Creativity is what has kept America on the cutting edge. Democracy, creativity go together. And that has to be part of our future moving forward into this bright discussion that you're going to be having later. Now, as was pointed out, I serve on the Appropriations Committee in Congress. I'm the ranking member of the Defense Committee, which is not something that I had aspired to do, but when called upon, you do your duty, right? So what I've become acutely aware of and what I've been working on is what we need to do to not only recruit the best and brightest to wear the uniform, but we also need to have skilled workers from all backgrounds. We need people who are highly skilled in scientific and technology to support our national security, and that also trickles into supporting our economic security into the future. I know firsthand, just in the Department of Defense, we're in trouble. Our needs far, far, far outpace the skilled workers we have. And those needs are only going to continue to grow here at home, especially as our nation sees the challenges of coming out of COVID. But think, there's an opportunity. We can take advantage of the historic legislation that Congress passed and was signed into law by President Biden. It's going to need a vibrant workforce. Think of it, the CHIPS and Science Act, the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law, the Inflation Reduction Act. They herald a new era of federal focus and investment in innovation and making the future brighter for all of us. So it's up to all of us, you here who care passionately about access and opportunity, to ensure that the benefits of this innovation, including the jobs that will be created, we need people who will implement it from all of our communities. No one can be left on the sidelines on this. This is a huge goal, and we are up to the task. Now, as I said, I'm excited to be here. I'm pleased to be here with you because you're engaging in this important work. And I want to give a shout out to two organizations that are helping with making this happen here today. I want to give thanks to the association, American Association, the Advancements of Science, for leading this workshop, for helping to bridge the gap. And that's what they do. They bridge the gap between science and policy in our nation. They do that in my office all the time. And I am very proud to have hosted many fellows from AAAS in my office who have contributed significantly to making me be a more effective leader for the 4th District here in Minnesota and for our nation. Now, true confessions, I am going to cry tears when Jordan Metz leaves our office at the end of this month. He's been wonderful, helping me work on critical minerals, how to solve some of the historic pollution problems we're trying to clear up. He has been absolutely wonderful. And I'm going to keep him on speed dial somehow. But there was one bright lining to one of the AAA fellows I had, Rebecca Taylor, who is now in leadership in my domestic policy person. She's still working for me after 11 years and 2 children. And it was because of AAAS that I've had such great opportunities in my office. So thank you, and thank you to your organization. Keep it up. Now, I also would be remiss if to say that I'm so proud of President Biden and the work that the White House has done for partnering on this to bring ideas to life, right? Harnessing the power of science and technology through innovation to achieve America's greatest ambition, to be a more perfect union, to have everybody participating, to make the world a better place to be. I also want to give a shout out to 3M. I like to say they're my hometown company, being from Maplewood. But it's really important to have community leaders and to have business leaders who step forward. The longstanding commitment 3M has made for learning experiences and working with underrepresented populations is something I've witnessed firsthand. They've long been, as I said, a private sector partner, and they've worked on cultivating a diverse workforce here. They walk the talk. They do that through scholarships. They do that through summer preparation programs, fellowships, especially with historically Black colleges and Hispanic higher education institutions. 3M and science, they go hand in hand, and it's no surprise that they're part of a nonprofit partnership with the federal state governments. Now, this is a new partnership. Listen carefully. This is going to be the future of Minnesota and many other agricultural-based states. BioM. BioM is working right now to establish the first in-the-kind nation biomanufacturing campus right here in Minnesota. That campus will develop ways to use feedstock, corn, soy, and sugar beets to make sustainable industrial materials. Now, how I got involved in this was my work on the Defense Committee, believe it or not. The Department of Defense was looking for alternative fuels, alternative coatings, and ways to reduce its energy costs. So I'm on the Defense Committee. I'm not a scientist, but I like science. I got involved in it. The Defense Department has been the leader in making sure that increased domestic manufacturing is competitive and to secure our supply chains. So this is something that the private sector is working on. We're going to have a multiplying effect with the federal government as a partner working on this. And I like to work on things that are non-lethal. So this is a win-win for me. So there's a saying, and we've all heard it, that it takes a whole village to make things happen or to raise a child. So I'm going to shout out to a couple of our local partners who I work with on I want to say almost a daily basis. Superintendent Gothard from St. Paul Public Schools is here. President Peasley, I didn't see you when you were in. If you're not here, I know you're going to be joining at some point, or maybe you're joining virtually from St. Paul College. Eric Jolly, who I've known for many years in your roles, but your role now as the CEO of St. Paul and Minnesota Foundation. Thank you for your work that you do it. And Ms. Becker, and my county commissioner here from Ramsey County, representing workforce. We know we have to work together. We have to work together with academia. We have to work together with the state, nonprofits, businesses, and everybody. We can create this equity, and we can create opportunity, and we can create a better workforce. And we're going to do that with all hands on deck, like you're doing here today. You're going to have cross-sector discussions. You're going to have partnerships on display here today. And it's incredibly important that it not stop the conversation after what you the people you meet today. You need to keep pollinating with each other. We need state, federal, as was pointed out now, and I'm so pleased about this, tribal governments, as well as local governments, working together to advance policies and to make investments. Nonprofits I've mentioned, business, educators, we all need to be working together. We need to chart that path forward that welcomes our communities into the classroom, the laboratory, and yes, the workplace. Now, before I step away from the microphone, I know you have a lot of fabulous ideas that you're going to be talking about, but I want to highlight an example that's taking place right here, right now in Minnesota's 4th District. You know, we're mostly of Nordic stock. I am, you know, so if any of you listen to Prairie Home Companion, we're not supposed to brag on ourselves. Mom, forgive me. Okay. So the Science Museum of Minnesota has something called an Ideal Center, which stands for inclusion, diversity, equity, access, and leadership. It delivers professional development that is serious about building equity and inclusion. Their strategies are research-based. They are teaching educators how to create sustainable and transformative change, to welcome all students, everyone, into a scientific learning experience. They provide interactive environments to help participants understand the barriers that underrepresented groups face. You have to learn about each other in order to move forward, in order to engage in the STEM fields. Now, this is important to know how to be part of a positive, systematic change if we're going to break down those barriers. So the important part of their work that I'm so excited about is creating and supporting a network of educational leaders. Teach the next teacher, who have gone through the program and now they're putting these principles into action. We know that this work will not be done today, nor will it be done by one person. So I'm going to quote a person I've never met here today, and I don't even have this individual's name, but I really liked what I was pulled out for me to use today. Changing culture is immensely emotional. Think about that. Change is hard, and it happens incrementally. We have to work on it every day, so don't give up. Changing culture is immensely emotional, and it happens incrementally, so don't give up. So that's what I leave you with. Don't give up. Your work is important, and work often sometimes faces backlash. When I go back to Congress in September, I'm going to be fighting to keep the progress moving forward. House Republicans currently are pushing to defund diversity, equity, and inclusion in every single federal agency, and that includes labor, our Labor and Workforce Committee, and in our public education system. So it's critical that we get this right. And you're going to be the voices that are going to show the research way to get it right. So I'm excited about the work that you're doing. And I'm confident that the conversations you're going to have here today are going to be an important tool for knocking down those barriers, unleashing the creativity, the innovative spirit to make the world a better place, not only for today, but for tomorrow. Thank you for inviting me here today, and get to work.